Welcome back to the Quiet On Set podcast powered by Cineman. I'm Ewan, and as always, I'm joined by the alien aficionado and child movie star prodigy, Lachlan Teely.
Tinfoil hats on today, lads, as we discuss trailers for the Andor series releasing on Disney+, the Menu trailer, and also the trailer for the Triangle of Sadness, the Palme d'Or winner this year.
And then I got some quick thoughts on Day Shift, 13 Lives, and more. And Lachlan rewatched some modern horror classics, Midsommar and Get Out, in preparation for our main spoiler review of the new Jordan Peele film, Nope. So let's cue up the intro and let's get into the show. We are professionals.
This is a professional podcast.
Yes. Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Hello there. Which actually,
did you
this
get
is gonna
me a
be
hat
a
as
bit,
well?
Yes.
So I've got Dooncam. It's just a camera with my Dune steelbook.
Welcome back, Lachlan. Now,
No, Ewan,
No?
welcome back. I should say to you, you're the one who's
Yes.
back in
I am
your
back.
studio, essentially, from
Yes.
Locarno. How was it?
It was great. I kind of had this thing that I'm not disappointed by. I got the gun hat, right?
Yeah, and I didn't.
Let's not
Okay, I
do
won't bring
again.
that up. I won't bring that up today.
Because I was actually thinking about you a couple of times, and I thought that, okay, maybe going forward, instead of like getting a magnet from a place that you put onto your fridge or whatever, I would get a hat from whatever film festival I'm traveling to, because I don't travel for any other reasons than film festivals since this podcast started. So I wanted to get one, and then they sold out. So otherwise, I would be wearing a Locarno hat right now. But I did go to that festival. The big movies I would love to talk about were mainly at the trade show that I attended. Like, it was a special event for like cinema owners and programmers to showcase some of the new films. And there were some great films in there, but I can't talk about it because they're technically under embargo. A bunch of smaller films that we won't go into too much. But there's the one or other interview I did that will pop up on the Ewan Graph podcast if you on the Ewan Graph YouTube channel if you're curious. Yeah, it was hot and it was a lot of fun. At least the first few days when I got to drink every night. And you saw how exhausted I was last week. But now I'm back to full energy, hopefully.
So all I hear is you just flexing for the past 2 seconds about you seeing movies, and you haven't even shared with me what movies you have seen, unfortunately. So
I have. I did say that I watched Close, and although I cannot technically talk about it, I can still say I kind of watched it. I think I'll rewrite the narrative and say I did catch it at Gun, so then I can talk about it. Although there's this evidence that I didn't see it at Gun. We'll just get rid of that, I guess. And I can't wait for more people to catch it at the fall festivals, where it will probably be playing for a lot of people. So be on the lookout for Close, really a hidden gem. What have you been up to? I don't want to be the one monologuing from the start to the finish of this episode.
Well, literally nothing, my friend. I guess I got a bit jealous and I went on a binge of watching a couple of movies this week in preparation of what we're watching or talking about today. And two, just because I was in a bit of a mood to watch some spooky little films. Lot to discuss this episode.
Yes.
I think the main topic is quite exciting of a film. I didn't expect to be coming out of the cinema this pleased with a film.
Right.
So I don't want to spoil too much with Nope.
Bit of a tease,
It's kind of one of the only films this year, or I wouldn't say one of the only, but one of the ones that I went into and came out and I was like, that is a bit of a unique story in general, and just a really cool concept. So yes, not trying to spoil what's happening later on in the show when it comes to our spoiler review of Nope, but I'm very excited about today's episode, my friend.
If you want to skip ahead to our Nope review, time codes are, as always, linked below for all of the stuff we're talking about today. And if you didn't see it yet, check out our review for season 1 of The Sandman. And if you're already scrolling and not watching the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more weekly content with a new episode every Monday. And Lachlan, without further ado, let's just have a look at this week's news. And first up, I would like to continue a bit on our discussion that we had last week about DC, which we didn't really fully delve into all of the headlines because there was just so much to discuss and there was a limited time that I had to prepare the episode. So we just focused on the cancellation of Scoop 2 and Batgirl. Now that I've kind of consumed a bit more of the media, of the news surrounding it and read up on it, it's interesting that like why they do this stuff, that it's mainly motivated by a tax write-off and by noting down that these movies that they're not bringing out are a loss for the company. They are able to write it off as a tax. So there's no way, as a tax deduction, so there's no way they can monetize those things. They will most likely not see the light of day ever, but it's certainly interesting because the CEO is also someone who was famous at Discovery, mainly for the really low budget reality TV stuff that he did. And there's quotes of him saying like, I don't know, he doesn't like films, he likes when it's more real. So his like reality TV stuff is what he sees, and he doesn't even really like movies. And it's great direction to go in for Warner Bros. Discovery for someone who doesn't like films. But a headline that came out just recently is the budget of Joker coming in at a $150 million. That's triple the amount that the original cost. And about a third of that is going directly to the director, with 20 million going to Todd Phillips as well as Joaquin Phoenix each, and then 10 million for Lady Gaga. Doesn't seem like they're not willing to spend money, for their upcoming project, especially on their talent. What did you make of this news for Joker 2?
I didn't know about the budget, funnily enough, or the amount of money they're being paid. I guess, look, the original Joker is a success story. I think both of us agreed that with the Joker, we weren't very happy with the direction of it, but we did enjoy Joaquin Phoenix's performance a lot. Yeah. And I think that is what held together that film. That was the glue that held that story together and that entire film together. And I would say Robert De Niro as well, because it's good to see him in anything. But overall, his performance of Joker is insane. Lady Gaga as well has definitely shown her acting chops recently. You could say you've seen the best and the worst of Lady Gaga on screen so far. House of Gucci. And, A Star Is Born as well. There's your spectrum between the good and the bad. So somewhere in there, she's going to have to find a crazy person. And, maybe she played that in House of Gucci. We don't know. But look, Lady Gaga could definitely pull out something really interesting here. But I don't know if I have a total faith in, once again, Todd Phillips giving me something that I'm wanting to sick my teeth into that I haven't seen before. So I'd like something new and original. I wouldn't want, again, another Taxi Driver, comedy, copy and paste. I want something a bit more unique and original.
Well, you're getting a musical.
Look, I'll tell you what, it's a musical. And it's mostly set in Arkham Asylum. So my belief, how like the previous, as I said, it's a crossover between like Taxi Driver, King of Comedy. The sequel is going to be a One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest with Hamilton.
Hamilton. It's interesting that you name drop Hamilton, because there was a quote that described it. It's a bit more A Star Is Born than In the Heights, and In the Heights is also from Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Interesting.
But yeah, just the only musical that you have seen.
I was trying to think of a musical of like recent memory, and I was like, oh, Hamilton. But I don't really want to say Hamilton because Hamilton's on a tier above. But like In the Heights is a good example. It's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with High School Musical. So let's just say that.
And it's Todd Phillips, so you could never describe the movie by itself because it's not original. It always has to pull from like 5 other movies to sustain itself. But Joker Folie à Deux will release, I think, October 2024.
Sorry, what's the title?
Joker Folie à Deux.
I thought you were having a stroke. Sorry.
I don't know what it means. My French is really bad, but à deux just means with two. So like something... two.
I just Googled it and it says Folie à Deux is known as a shared psychosis or a shared delusional disorder. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Makes sense.
I mean, it does make sense that maybe the musical part of it is just a psychosis, them just going completely bonkers. And again, like in Joker, there were some interesting ideas, a phenomenal performance, but I just thought at the root of it, there wasn't really an interesting film to tell. We'll see. Maybe I'll be
We'll
pleasantly
see.
surprised by Joker 2. We'll just have to
I
wait.
would love to. I don't want a film ever to flop, but
that's why you watched Morbius and Minions Rise of Groot 10 times in the theater. We're like, no, I will not stand for this. This is not okay. They do have to succeed. We do need more sequels. No, something that I would love to get some news on, and it's kind of up in the air, especially with the new direction that Warner Bros. Discovery is taking, is the Batman 2, which is not yet confirmed to actually go into production, but reportedly Matt Reeves is working on a script for the film, so hopefully that will be good enough. I don't know, the numbers are certainly good enough. I mean, this movie did quite well. It cost, I think, about $200 million early this year, but it's one of the highest grossing movies of the year, so hopefully we'll get a sequel to this, and the margin is big enough for the new Warner Bros. Discovery CEO that he'll greenlight this, hopefully, because, the Batman 2 is something that I'm really eagerly anticipating.
I guess the only thing I want to say on that is Robert Pattinson knows the limits of what Warner Brothers will cancel a film at, and it can either be nothing, or it can be assault a bunch of people and they're still not going to cancel it. So we never know.
We never know, because it's certainly up in the air how they want to take the DC universe in the future. And speaking of that, there's a bit of news, as always, about Ezra Miller. I don't even want to go into the accusations, all that shit. It's just a mess, a big old mess. But basically, it has come down to Warner Bros. Reportedly saying that there's 3 options for The Flash. First of them being that Ezra Miller gives an interview apologizing for all he's done, and then he goes on a limited press tour. Ezra Miller does not go on a press tour, or they're just not going to release The Flash. So those are the 3 options that currently trying to weigh out and figure out a solution to this mess that I don't even know what they're doing with Aquaman at this point, but yeah, The Flash, a movie that's been in the works for like 7 years or whatever it is now. Lachlan, do you think what option do you think they'll take? Are we going to see
Option
The
number 3
Flash?
shouldn't be an option. So option number 3 shouldn't be an option. Ezra Miller has most likely already been paid for the role, so him not doing any kind of press makes total sense. Also, him going out apologizing, he's not gonna, like, it does nothing to apologize to us, to the viewers, to his fans. It's to apologize to the people he has assaulted and all of those accusations that have come out against him. So I don't think option 1 is a good option. Option 3 is not a good option. Option 2 is probably the best one, where he is in no promotion, he's at no interviews, because there are a lot of other people who have worked very hard to get this film out there. And, you know, you can't really have one person ruin this entire thing, even if it is the star. And it's kind of ridiculous how, you know, we've already talked about this, that, you know, Warner Brothers Discovery has cancelled Batgirl with nothing to say as to why. They just scrapped it because reasons. When you have at least a new reason coming out every week to scrap this film because of your main star, and your main star in the other one hasn't done anything, I just don't think they're completely thinking everything through here. So in this case, the film's done. Release the film. If there might be some people being paid on the success of this film, get those people paid. Anything that has to do with Ezra Miller, scrap it. Ezra Miller, piece of trash.
Like I said, I think the direction that the DC is taking in the future is still up in the air, and they're trying to figure that out. So I think The Flash could be used, like the Flash movie could be used as just a reboot or a soft reset for the entire universe, because they're doing, I think, Flashpoint, right? So just
the
use
Flash
that.
runs
so they kind of
fast that the entire universe collapses in on itself. Done.
just so they got a clean slate moving forward. They are currently having a bunch of problems with the people attached to their projects. And I think the Batwoman film had reportedly not like test screenings that didn't go like too well. But like that's usually the case. Like that's often the case, and then the movie still does well. So I don't know. But lastly, there's a bit of funny news is that Pennyworth, which I didn't know already had 2 seasons and is going into a 3rd season. I don't know if you knew about this, Lachlan, but it's getting a retitle and it's not Pennyworth anymore. It's called Pennyworth: The Origins of Batman's Butler, for those who didn't know, just to clarify that it's attached to some bigger property, which I just found funny that was one bit of news that we got this week. And lastly, I got a bunch of quick news that we'll go over. The new film from the Russo brothers just announced their cast. The Electric State features Michelle Yeoh, Brian Cox, Stanley Tucci, Jason Alexander, Jenny Slate, Millie Bobby Brown, and Chris Pratt. Then there's Decision to Leave. The new Park Chan-wook film is the official selection for South Korea for this year's Oscar submission. That means that Koreeda's Broker is out of the race, as every country only gets 1 nomination. And finally, linked below are the lineups for the Venice Film Festival, the Toronto International Film Festival, and the New York Film Festival. If you're interested in what's coming to festivals this fall, apart from Babylon from Damien Giselle, most films are doing a run at the fall film festivals, so be on the lookout to catch up from some great films from Sundance, Cannes, and more. Quick news, in and out. Let's move on to trailers.
Quick news, in and out.
First up, we got a couple of shoutouts to trailers we won't discuss any further, and those are as follows. Do Revenge, a Netflix film with Maya Hawke typecast yet again as a bi or lesbian character that heads over to Netflix on September 16th, and it's about them, well, doing revenge. Then we got the trailer for season 6 of Rick and Morty that releases on September 4th. And it's just more of Rick and Morty. There's not much to add there. If you've enjoyed the season so far, it seems like they'll just continue down the path that they have made for themselves. And then lastly, we got a short little teaser for Luca Guadagnino's new film, Bones and All, premiering at a bunch of fall festivals. And it's a novel adaptation of a teen romance novel about cannibalism. So from the short teaser, I don't know if we saw a bunch of that already. It's just a short 30-second teaser, but it certainly looked intriguing, and everything that Timothée Chalamet is in, I'm definitely going to seek out.
Seriously, it looked like the Dune 2 trailer at first. I was like, oh, Dune 2.
Dune
no,
2.
not Dune 2.
Bones and All. I think I
Dunes.
saw Timothée Chalamet tweet like Boner and Boner or Bones and Bones or something like that. It's just randomly.
What a meme lord.
So let's have a look at the trailer for Andor, the Disney Plus series from the Star Wars universe that continues, or I guess predates. It's prequel, I think, to, well, yeah, it's definitely a prequel to Rogue One. It's coming out September 21st with the first 3 episodes. And yeah, Lachlan, what did you make of Andor?
It looks like a very well-crafted series. It looks like it's had more love and care given to it than any other of the Disney Plus shows that has currently taken place in the Star Wars universe. And 2 of those are beloved Star Wars characters, Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and they, as we now know, did not end up being excellent series on that streaming platform, to the point that I was actually going through my Letterboxd the other day, and I started re-ranking things now that I've gone through many years of watching movies and logged many of them on that social platform that I love. I re-ranked Obi-Wan Kenobi's miniseries to 2 stars.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because I think you had it at 3 stars, right?
Because
So
I
that's
had it
quite
at
a
about
downgrade.
3.5 stars,
Mm-hmm.
and I downgraded it to 2 because I had more time to sit on it and think about it. At the time, I was loving the stuff between Ewan and Hayden Christensen, and it was excellent. Ewan McGregor, not you. So now that I've sat and thought about it a little bit longer, I've realized that the show wasn't that great. The show looked flat and boring, and honestly, the story was quite trash, but I was caught up in the scheme of things. Now, I will say, has great scenes, but Obi-Wan sucks. Sorry, are we doing Obi-Wan or Andor? Andor, we're doing Andor, that's right. Andor
But it
looks
just
great.
looks better, right? It looks like
fantastic.
it's got better sets, it got bigger sets,
And
it has
they
a bunch
literally are
of
shooting on
characters, right?
location. They're
Yeah, they
shooting
are
on a
shooting. Yeah.
location.
Mhm.
We're following a bunch of characters, and I know it takes place over a bunch of different years, and that's
Mhm.
quite exciting. Now, that can go many different ways. It could be quite shit, or it could be quite good by
Mhm.
jumping so far into time, back and forth. Yeah, like it's looking like the best looking Disney Plus series in the Star Wars universe so far, just behind, or I should say, not even just behind, but on par with the Mandalorian, because I think the Mandalorian has used that technology. I don't know what it's called, unfortunately, off the top of
The
my
dome. I
head. The
think. Yeah, I don't
dome
know.
technology.
Something like
Oh,
that.
I like that. The dome.
I
Oh,
think
I
it's the
like
dome. I'm
that.
not a.
In the
Yeah.
dome, that dome technology.
Yeah.
That is probably the magnum opus of it, but they
Mhm.
poorly used it in two of the other series. So I am
Yeah.
looking forward to this show. I have to admit, Rogue One is the best thing that Disney has put out in the movie world, and
I was
actually,
about
you
to
know what, I'd
ask.
even say in
Yeah.
the since they acquired the rights of Star Wars, it's the best thing they've pumped out
Mhm.
in that IP. So I will watch this for a fact because it's produced by the guys who made it, I believe, and also it's got Andor in it. So I'm in,
Mhm.
and it looks fucking sick. Shoot me.
Yeah.
Don't shoot me. I want to watch it, but shoot me afterwards.
It's.
I don't know why I
I
said
think
shoot
it's.
me.
I think it's made by the guy who did the reshoots and re-edit stuff for Rogue One. I don't know if he's directing or if he's just a head producer or showrunner. Not entirely sure. I can add that to the video version right now to correct me. But since Disney acquired Lucasfilms, I think that's the best thing they've done as well. I was about to say like maybe we disagree and we got a different pick, but no, literally the same. Although I am snacking on the blue milk from
Blue
whatever
milk.
Skywalker film. And I can say it's delicious, but still, those movies really don't look great if you look back on them with a bit of time. And I think Rogue One is, although it is like a direct prequel, to Episode 4, it still has the legs to stand on itself, and it's also has a great look to it. And I also like that they seem to add a bunch of characters without, like, from the trailer I had the impression that it's not like super messy and it's not as cheesy, because Rogue One was also a bit more bleak. It had that to itself, and it was basically this mission that was, well, bound to end in a bunch of casualties, and we don't really see that too often from our lead characters in Star Wars. So I'm quite keen for Andor. It definitely has the possibility to shoot up the rankings, especially in the series department for Star Wars. And yeah, I'm quite keen for September 21st to check out Andor. And now let's have a look at The Menu, a movie that's releasing on November 18th and stars Anya Taylor-Joy as well as Ralph Fiennes and Nicholas Hoult, and comes from the Succession writer, or a writer on Succession. And it's unfortunate that this trailer basically gives the whole movie away. So that's a bit of a pity, but it could be quite entertaining. And well, basically, in the trailer, really tells you what it's going to be. It's just a class structure satire in a sense. And yeah, that's basically what it seems to be, to shield you of the just aforementioned spoilers for the whole film. It's not like spoiling anything in particular, like character deaths or what is going to happen, but it still really gives you a through line of how the whole movie is going, or seemingly how it's going to go. So for both The Menu and Triangle of Sadness, I told you to not watch the trailers. So it's basically just me, I guess, giving you a quick impression of them, which is a bit uncommon for. But are you still looking forward to The Menu? Are you going to check out the film?
Both. I'm excited to see both. I watched the previous trailers, the
Mhm.
teaser for both of them, or the first trailer, whatever you want to just call it as. I'm
Yeah.
excited for both. I think you've seen Triangle of Sadness already?
Yes, I have, and that's why I was a bit disappointed, because the movie is kind of structured in well, 3 chapters, I'd say, and it's great when the trailer basically pulls from chapter 1 and 2 mainly, but it also gives you a bit of a glimpse into chapter 3, and I think just the raw, like just how that just happens, and stuff, like where it goes. I don't think people should know that going in, or like have at least like some kind of memory, subliminal or not, of where this movie could head. So I think like the less you consume about it, just take in it. Won the Pandor. It's a really entertaining satire. Go seek it out when it releases on October 7th. But I wouldn't say watch too many more trailers of it if you're already set on going to see it. But that's it for the trailers this week. So let's get to what we've been watching. Right, Lachlan. So what have you been watching?
Let me get the big boy. Obviously for video users.
Right.
I'm still using this thing. I want you to put. I don't have any of like the 4Ks or DVDs. I've streamed them all from like Netflix and stuff this week. So I need you to do that, Ewan. Got it? Copy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the hard work you're about to do. All right,
Cool.
good.
Love it.
Okay, so I watched a couple of things just to get it out of the way. I watched the new Prey, the new Predator movie, which I have a lot of positive thoughts on. Not going to spend too much time on it because I believe it's our topic next week that we want to cover. Since there's not a lot of big releases next week, we're covering Prey. So thoughts to come. However, it is a positive review from me, which I'd like to say I'm happy about because I'm a big Predator fan. And now that I get an extra week in between, I'm hopefully going to go back and watch the Predator movies, all of them, so I can be refreshed.
I was about to say this. I'm planning to do the same. Only thing I quickly add on to this, because this is also in my what I've been watching, is that, you know, the 2 versions that they have with the
Komachi version,
I don't have that on Disney Plus. I
really?
watched it, and there's no, I couldn't find it. Maybe I'm just being dumb, but I'll try and use a VPN to maybe go around it.
It should be on the extras.
It should be, or maybe I just didn't see it, but they certainly don't advertise for it, which at least like for me,
which
and that's a bit disappointing.
I did get to watch. I watched the English version. I wanted to watch that first go, but I did watch a couple scenes in the Komachi, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Komachi. I want to go back and rewatch the whole thing again in that language, in that dub. But from the scenes that I watched, it was, you know, very, very interesting and very exciting that they included that, which, you know, some companies would just completely ignore doing a dub in that language. But yeah, obviously there's like, you know, other dubs for other mainstream languages, but to have the language they would be speaking during the time that the film is set is very exciting. All right, moving on from Prey. I watched a couple other movies. 2 of them are completely separate to today's topic, so I'll do that one last. But the 2 that I watched Midsommar again. My partner had never seen it. She really likes Florence Pugh, so we decided to watch Midsommar together. She loved it. She doesn't like when movies get weird, and that movie gets really weird really quickly. So she was like, "I love this movie. I don't like how weird it is, though." And I was like, "I understand that, but positive outcome." I'd just like to say that Midsommar is great. I haven't actually watched the director's cut. I know there's the director's cut, which I think adds an extra half an hour on. And I really would like to go back and watch that at some point. But Midsommar, 3.5 stars, really awesome film. The other film that I watched that's not related to today's topic is The Town from 2010. It's the Ben Affleck heist film. I've never seen it before. It was fucking awesome. I'm not going to lie. I had a great old time watching that film. Not, you know, basically my summary of The Town is Ben Affleck was at a sleepover with all of his friends, like in that film, and they watched Heat, Michael Mann's Heat, and they were like, we should make this. So they all got together and wrote the script and started shooting it the next day, because the entire time I was watching it, I was like, this is giving me a lot of Heat vibes, just not to the same level, because Heat is on a completely other level to The Town by far, like probably the best heist film ever made. So The Town, again, excellent film, 3.5 stars. You know, it's not perfect, it's not the worst. And people are probably gonna be like, "Oh my god, you gave Midsommar and The Town the same score?" Yeah. I don't find Midsommar perfect. I
Deal
don't
with
actually
it.
find it scary or like I don't think the horror is terrifying. Where in
Right.
comparison to the horror in Nope that we'll be discussing soon, I did find terrifying. But Midsommar I don't find scary. So as a horror film, I didn't like it. The Town as an action film, it has it, but I don't think it reaches that level.
Mhm.
But in saying that, you know, Midsommar has a really cool theme of loss and suffering and
Yeah.
I
The
guess
cool theme of loss.
the cool thing of loss, right?
Yeah, look, you're not scared by shrooms because you constantly take them. So like,
By the way, you need
why
to be
would I be
putting all the
scared by
movies.
them?
You need to be putting all the movies on this thing for the people who are watching with the video because I built this thing for that and I didn't get the DVD. So you're
And
extra work.
you're going back and forth, so I actually have to go back and forth. I have to
Yes.
zoom in
All
as
right.
well.
Last one is Get Out. I watched Get Out in preparation for Nope. Show off. That's dope. What is that? Is that a 4K?
No.
Or is it a
That's
poster?
just that's a frame
Oh,
thing.
that's
I stole
cool.
it. It's not mine. It's my
You
little
stole it.
brother's, and I just
Oh, okay.
stole it.
Cool. Sick.
Yeah.
Get Out. Again, it's Jordan Peele's directorial debut. I actually hadn't logged it, so I haven't watched it since its release from like 2017. So I never actually logged it because I've only been using Letterboxd for a few years now. I logged it
Born
for
in
the first
2016.
time. Yeah, I haven't watched a movie prior to 20. Oh, that doesn't work because I just watched The Town. Anyway, Get
Yes.
Out is incredible, and I think that is a straight up fact. It is really incredible. I loved it from start to end, and it's the same when I first watched it. There was, I guess it's been a while since I watched it, so because there were some things that I was like, oh, I didn't get that the first time, so just so much more. And for a directorial debut, it was absolutely spectacular to have this be a directorial debut. Jordan Peele's directorial debut is just a absolutely smash hit. Super successful when it came out, and I guess now it's cemented itself into pop culture of being that movie that everyone watches and they reference it, and it's a wicked movie. It's really awesome performances, great directing, and overall like really fun story to follow at the same time. So Get Out gets a 4.5 stars out of 5 from me. It is absolutely wicked. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it because it will prep you for the insanity that is Nope. But at the same time, you won't be prepared for what Nope has to offer, and we'll get to that very, very shortly.
That would be a
Ewan, what
perfect
have you been
segue,
watching?
but now I come in with the monologue of the slew of films that I just watched. And I'll briefly go over them. I didn't watch any horror films, but I did watch something that certainly felt like a horror film at times. And I watched both The Rescue and 13 Lives, which one of them, 13 Lives, being the Ron Howard dramatic retelling of the 2018 news phenomenon of those 13 Thai boys being stuck in a cave. And it is really the best thing Ron Howard's done, I think, in a decade. It's a really engaging and breathtaking, no pun intended, tale of those divers rescuing those boys, and just how incredible that was. Like how difficult of an operation it was to execute and actually get all of them out alive. I think in the news cycle it was just like a quick success once they were found, and it's also reflected in the film, but actually showing how close they were to really not getting any of them out, and the feat that they had to overcome. I think the dramatization from Ron Howard even does that better than The Rescue, because The Rescue is focused more on those straight-on interview bits that they do, and I think they focus a bit weirdly on the people's personal lives, and I think they are a bit more in the dramatized version, I guess, woven into a story a bit more cleanly, where it felt like it's a bit incomplete in the rescue. But they reshoot, like, because it comes from the filmmakers behind Free Solo, they reshot a bunch of segments to, I guess, retell the parts where they were diving. And those are quite interesting to see because it comes from a more raw perspective that's not like in Ron Howard's version. But both of them I would give a warm recommendation to. 13 Lives on Amazon Prime, The Rescue over on Disney Plus, or I guess on Hulu in the States. I'm not entirely sure. I caught up with something else that we kind of jokingly talked about. I Am Groot, the 5 short films over on Disney Plus about Groot, and they really are just nothing. Half of the runtime is just credits, just crazy. It really is like more than half of. It's usually like a 2-minute long short, and they're harmless. But I just found them really boring and uninspired. But that's just me hating on the MCU, Lachlan. We know that by now.
What a shocker!
Yeah. Anyways, Apple TV Plus also got something that just concluded. Blackbird, a limited series with Taron Egerton. Really good stuff over there. It's the dramatic retelling of a based on true event story of a drug guy who facilitated drugs getting locked up, but having the chance to I guess get rid of his sentence and be a free man if he finds out about the location of a bunch of teenage girls that a serial killer has killed, and he has to talk with him and go into the same prison. And it's basically that type of it's focused on the conversations that those two have and the dynamic. And I think it is, by the end of it, quite a thrilling story to see unfold in front of you. So I can recommend a Blackbird over on Apple TV Plus. And 2 more things. One thing over on Shudder, Resurrection, premiered at Sundance with Rebecca Hall giving a haunting performance. And it's one of those movies I kind of knew nothing going in. I just knew that it was bone-chilling from what people had been describing. And I can affirm that statement. Yes, it is. It's a really unique horror film, at least in my eyes. I haven't seen anything really coming close to it. And it left me a bit speechless thinking about it for a couple of days. So over on Shudder, Resurrection, can recommend that as well. Lastly, Netflix, Day Shift, Jamie Foxx, Dave Franco, Body Cop. Snoop Dogg is also in there. And they are vampire hunters. It's a bit of good, dumb fun. It's not good enough that it will take over the other streaming release over on Hulu and Disney Plus, Prey, for next week. So it's not no Prey, but it's entertaining. I didn't give all of these a rating so far, but I guess with Day Shift, I'd say it's a straight down the middle, a 5 out of 10 for me. But yeah, give that a watch if you are a fan of Dave Franco. I'd say more specifically, just because he does more Dave Franco things, like in the Jump Street movies. If you like that type of humor, I think they basically do that in a sense with Day Shift. And that's it for what I've been watching.
Hey, I don't know if you saw.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but I updated a bunch of my reviews of recent ones and with like some comments. Did you see them by any chance?
The thing is, I saw that you logged Nope, and I really tried hard to not read it, and I saw your rating, which I'm not going to leak.
Okay, sure, cool. Did you see any of the other ones?
I tried to stay clear of it. No,
I went on a thing last. Oh wait, ready? So I updated Kenobi when I did the 2 stars, and I said only a Force ghost of its full potential. Ooh,
yeah.
Ready?
Ooh.
When I did Get Out, my review was 4.5 stars. Spoiler alert, he got out. Midsommar, weirdest Shakespeare play I've ever seen.
I got you.
The Nope one, I'll do it now. Like, seriously, I couldn't look away at any point of the film. Kind of ironic that I couldn't look away now that I kind of think of it. And then my favorite one was Bullet Train. Excellent film, plenty of spin-off and sequel material. Work in progress for titles. Here are some examples. World War Trains, Once Upon a Time in Trains, Mr. and Mrs. Trains, The Big Train, 12 Years a Train, Ocean's Train, The Assassination of Jesse James by the Train, The Curious Case of Trains, and Inglourious Trains.
All right, that wraps it up for what we've been watching, and let's get to our review of Jordan Peele's Nope. Residents of a lonely gulch of inland California bear witness to an uncanny, chilling discovery. So, Nope comes from third-time director Jordan Peele and stars Daniel Kaluuya, Kiki Palmer, Brendan Perea, Michael Wincott, and Stephen Yeun, and is the latest in Jordan Peele's filmography, kind of, keeping up the quality that he's put into every project so far. Although this one is seemingly being received less well than all of the predecessors. I think with a directorial debut like Get Out, it's really hard to step up with with the quality that you've set out to do, or like what people expect of you. But I think Nope is certainly a film no less than any of the other films that he's done before. Nonetheless, with the release being out a bit longer in the States already, and it just coming to international theaters, we already have a bunch of numbers for you to maybe compare how this film has been received so far. It has done at the domestic box office in the States already $100 million with a $68 million budget. Compare that to, I guess, the smaller budgets of Get Out, which was only 4.5 million, and Us with 20 million. There's a step up, I guess, when it comes to the cost that has been put into it. And we'll get into that in our spoiler review of, I guess, where most of that money went, and you can really feel that. But when it comes to the ratings, on Letterboxd, it's a 3.6, on IMDb, a 7.4, and on Metacritic, a 77. When you compare that to some of his other films, like Us, there's everywhere you can kind of see that there were a couple points higher. And Lachlan, before we talk about spoilers, do you have any idea why, I guess, Nope has been not been received as well as Us and Get Out?
Maybe a less lack of social commentary. Maybe I feel like his previous films definitely comment on society a lot more, and people
Yeah.
will enjoy that substance to the film. Where this was more of a creative endeavor from Jordan Peele in his storytelling, and not really wanting to say something that is just about to break surface level of in your face.
Yeah.
Get Out is obviously, in my opinion, probably a great example of basically in your face kind of social commentary.
Yes.
But Nope is a complete departure of both Get Out and Us in the way that he's telling a story and a message. So, in my opinion, that's probably why the film has lacked the same, I guess, user. Critically, I believe this film is a success, but user reviews is probably where it's lacking. The actual audience scores are where people, everyday people, are not enjoying this as much.
Like you said last week, with where you pull those numbers from really depend. With Bullet Train, we can, with a Nope, I think the most accurate is always Letterboxd, because like you said, on IMDb it's more the users, on Metacritic it's just the critics. If you put those numbers up to 77, they got a Metacritic, Us got an 81, and Get Out an 85. Compare that to IMDb, where it got a 7.4, and Us got a 6.8, and Get Out a 7.7. So I think Us was quite a controversial film for a lot of the casual movie-going audience, just because I think the twist and the overall narrative, with how in your face it is with the social commentary, maybe was done in a way where it was too big a leap, where people weren't in for the themes that obviously get discussed, but in a really over-the-top way. I think once, you get this twist happening in Get Out, it's a big leap of how that narrative shifts. And in Nope, we never really get that. Like you said, it stays really grounded with what it's telling,
in
right?
genre. And I think
There's
that's
no
the main thing. There's no shift in the genre. It is consistently a horror thriller throughout the entire thing. There's no, drama aspect. There's no family drama. There's no there's none of that in this film, and that is where I think it's a massive departure for Jordan Peele. It's such a
Yeah.
different type of film, and I love it. If I'm not trying to spoil my my
We'll
I'm
get
not
into
trying
that.
to
Yeah,
spoil
yeah.
my score at the end,
Yes.
because if you couldn't hear from my voice already, I am being quite positive towards Nope,
Yeah.
and I'm quite positive towards his other endeavors as well. But there was
Mhm.
just something about this film, which we'll get into shortly, that just I couldn't keep my eyes off the screen. And that's such an
Yeah.
interesting aspect, especially when it comes to the story, when it comes to a narrative beat that we get to a bit later. How ironic it is that I can't take my eyes off the screen,
Mhm.
because everything from the way this is shot, which is, by the way, Hoyt van Hoytman, Hoytma, is his name?
Hoytma. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Hoyt van Hoytma is the cinematographer, so immediately you know this is going to be an absolutely stunning feat to look at. So if you can go see this in cinemas, go to the biggest, most beautifully bright display projector in your region and watch it, because it is a very stunning film to look at.
Also seek out IMAX screenings because there are
Yeah.
parts of this film shot in IMAX, which I didn't get to see, unfortunately, but I hear they're great.
Me neither. Everything from the visual side of it, the sound design was wicked in the cinema that I was in. I really felt engulfed in the surround sound aspects of it. I was very quite picky on what, I could hear a lot of background sounds happening, and you were
Mhm.
focusing on that. You're definitely thrown into this story, and you have a lot of a sensory overload with sound and sight with this film, where I feel like both Get Out and Us, it's more of the story that you're engaged with. So,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying Nope's story is terrible, because it is, again, fantastic storytelling at its core, but the other two films don't have, I guess, this visual l- beautifulness to it. And I just have to say that Nope is just on another level when it comes to what it looks like.
Yeah, you can certainly see that there was a lot of care put into especially the cinematography and the money well spent on whatever they were focusing. And I think it's that iconography that Jordan Peele always nails. Like, he has, with all of his films, really created shots that are gonna like stand the test of time. You can already see that they're really
Iconic.
iconic pieces of filmmaking, in Get Out. I think like you're gonna see it in montages for the next 50 to 100 years of that, like going into the nothingness, to like the void in Get Out. Him kind of falling back into the chair. That's such an iconic shot, and there's a few of those in Nope as well. I think one of them towards the ending of the film, kind of looking up, if maybe you already know what I'm referencing. And I kind of don't want to stay much longer in a non-spoiler discussion, so we can really get into the weeds of the film. But from both of us, without giving our full ratings away, we can definitely recommend Nope for everyone and anyone. So go seek it out in the theater. So, Lachlan, let's jump into our spoiler discussion. Last spoiler warning right here. And let's talk about the film overall. I guess we've already done that in non spoilers. And what I'd start with overall thoughts is on the themes of the film, which you already touched on, being glued to the screen, not being able to look away, which is a recurring thing in the film as well. So I see you are prepared for our discussion, having put
Yeah, do you
on
like my hat?
the cowboy
Sorry,
hat.
I've got
Yes.
a cowboy hat. It's the only kind of cowboy-looking hat that I've got, and I got it from a wine tour
Yeah.
a few months ago that I went on. Hot pink.
I like it.
I'm not going to wear it. It was going to be my spoiler discussion hat, but I decided to can
Yeah.
that, because I was going to have to wear a pink hat.
What does it say at this? It
Every
says a
week.
big S at the start. It
Just
stands
BS
for
on it.
Hope of Good Cinema. Yeah.
Sorry, your question. I was too busy
That-
making a visual joke.
The theme of like not being able to look away.
That's the theme? Oh, okay. It came out in cinemas yesterday, so I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
I saw it I saw it 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours. 7 hours ago, I saw it in cinemas. I was sitting in cinemas about halfway through. So it's fresh on my mind, so I'm still considering what themes there are. But for me, I guess the theme of not looking away, I guess you want to talk about. I couldn't look away. And one of the things later on in the film, I'm not trying to spoil it so quickly, is you can't look at it. If you don't look at it, it doesn't hurt you. And that was such a cool concept because you just want to look at stuff now. You just want to look at something and just, you want to see what's happening. And it's kind of funny that I was thinking about it, I was like, I didn't look away once. And I was like, oh, that's kind of ironic that I didn't at any point when I felt uncomfortable, when I was scared, when I was laughing, like the entire time I was glued to the screen. I don't think I looked off to the side, someone walking down to go to the toilet in the cinema once. I was just glued, eyes on, watching for the entire 2-hour runtime. And I found that so enthralling. I found it so exciting. And it wasn't until the end I thought, wow, I just couldn't take my eyes off of it. That's funny because they have to take their eyes off of what they're looking at or they all die. So for me, like, there isn't a lot of themes in this film to break down at a core level because I don't think he's leaning, and when I say he, Jordan Peele is leaning into trying to say something. I think he just wants to make a movie and have a bit of fun because everything when it comes to Nope was just really well done, from the horror aspects to the visual side of it to the actual alien itself. The humor was spot on. The acting, everything in this film was thought out to T, and it all comes together to create, in my opinion, the best film Jordan Peele has put out, period.
Wow. Big statements straight up front. Interesting. I think it doesn't break the barrier of Get Out to me, but it certainly is fighting for that number 2 spot. I also wasn't too big on Us overall. I think that twist was a bit much for me, and I really enjoyed also the film just really enjoyed the film for the spectacle itself, and basically becoming more of a monster film towards the end of it. Right? It's not really delving into the sci-fi themes that deeply. Biggest criticism that it got from a lot of places.
Getting straight into it. Okay.
No, let's jump into that because I think it is interesting. I don't think it's a weak point of the film, but the Stephen Yeun plot of child star to, I guess, theme park runner, and is it a chimpanzee or just a monkey? The monkey side plot. What did you make of that?
It's kind of interesting. I felt like that was the only part that I haven't really thought about since watching it because that storyline is quickly shuffled aside. You feel like it's going to play a big part in the film, but it ends up not really playing any part in the overall story. It's more of a side thing that happens. I guess for me, now that I'm thinking of it, this is my live thoughts on air. Here we go. About me breaking it down. I guess it's one of the things that is trying to state something, right? Don't work with animals in Hollywood. That's done. Sold. There you go. All right. Thanks for watching listening to the Quiet on Set podcast. My name's Lachlan Teely. This is Ewan. That's it. That's Nope. I don't work with animals. No, I guess it is probably the weakest part of the film, but for me, it still plays a part in the story. It's Stephen Yeun's, I guess, backstory, and giving him a bit more depth doesn't hurt, even though he's not a large part of the overall story. That definitely goes to Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer. Those two guys are pretty much the bread and butter of this film. But like, what do you think of that scene?
I mean, I think it's the kind of, using wild animals and domesticating them and then using using them for commercialization always kind of falls back onto you. And the whole film, I think, does repeat a bunch of the same mistakes. I think that OJ and Emerald also continuously choose to go back to document this thing, to use it, although it has caused them harm. It has killed their father. It is was about to go into a Northman thing. Kill my father. I'm
Yeah.
gonna avenge you, father.
I will save
No.
you, father. I will avenge your mother.
That's
Wait,
totally unintentional.
What is it?
I will
I'll
avenge
kill
you,
you,
father.
Filnia.
I'll kill you,
I'll
Fjolnir.
save you, mother. I'll kill you,
I'll-
Filnia. I'll avenge your
yeah.
father. I'll save your mother. I'll kill you, Filnia.
Exactly. But you know, that's also something that Stephen Yeun does. He has that traumatic experience, which basically concludes in him also not being to look away. He's still staring, and there's a bit of a contradiction that you stare at this wild animal and it still doesn't kill you, although it seems like once it's locked onto you, it kills you. But then it goes into like, okay, there's a bit of nuance. It's not just you look at it, it's going to kill you. But there certainly, I guess, was that kind of bond that he sees him differently, or maybe not to touch on. It was always almost about to spoil Prey, or not seeing it as a threat. But then I think it's a bit of a critique. I think that later on, the clear-cut nature of how the monster's tackled with, you're not looking at it, it's not going to hurt you, is a bit of a plot convenience to not, I guess, to have our characters kind of be safe. And I think the monkey plot went a bit, frazzled a bit out a bit more and gave it a bit more nuance towards, I guess, an actual theme in here, like don't tame predators and or like don't domesticate wild animals. But I agree with you. I think that side plot definitely was more of a statement, whereas the rest was really about the spectacle. So you get a bit of everything, you know, what you seek out.
I think the theme really is just the human nature to wanting to watch. I guess more recently, you know, the age of the internet, we see violence more often, and it's hard to look away. We're very curious creatures. We want to learn. We want to know what's happening, and you know, it's you know, you can't just look away at something that's happening. You know, if you see something, you're going to be fixated and fascinated with it. So it takes a stronger human to look away at an event, you know, something harmful in general, you know, in any kind of sense. It takes a stronger person to look away. And I guess that's the overall theme, because, you know, recently we've been glued to the screens of viewing stuff from around the world that's going on. And, you know, sometimes you just can't look away. You'll just stay up all night looking at the next video feed from a particular, you know, war-torn country. And then you're going down this rabbit hole of just watching stuff. And I guess, you know, that they talk about not being able to look away all the time, because Stephen Yeun says it, like, you know, you couldn't look away, you know, watch it up on YouTube. People are trying to search down for the footage of this ape murdering an actress and actor and entire crew. It's quite crazy. I guess now that I'm thinking of it, the theme that this story is trying to tell, for me, that this is only coming now that we're discussing it. I really didn't think about this before coming into the recording session today. Because for me, I've seen this film. It's not really asking you to look at it from this level. It's really more just, there's the story it's trying to tell, and it's got a layer upon layer upon layer of just fat. That's entertainment before it gets to that, where Jordan Peele typically has the story, and then straight underneath that is going to be the story he's trying to actually tell, the message he's trying to get across, and then it's going to be a couple layers of fat and entertainment, because that's typically what he's done in the past with these previous two films, where I feel like there's a bit of a layer between the story that we're seeing on screen and the message that Jordan Peele, like any storyteller, wants to tell a story, or you know, speak a message through their film. There's a bit more substance to this story that just doesn't necessarily add in to this message. It's definitely covered up a bit better.
I think it doesn't ask you to delve deep into the themes as well,
No.
which, also goes along the way of having a bigger budget and setting it, having Get Out be, I think, a January or February release, and then him slowly moving more into that blockbuster summer season. It's also who are you trying to appeal to, and who are you trying to I guess, get with this. And I think I really enjoy big films that once you peel like layers away, you do have a bit of substance and it's not just empty. But in those bigger films, I don't think you rely on having those themes and like statements from the director in the forefront. And what oftentimes happens in blockbusters, that you're trying to virtue signal certain bits of, I guess, being like accepting of or like no, being accepting towards a certain community, and it's basically shoehorned in, like in hating on the MCU for no reason at all. Stray
Oh, it's no
shots
reason.
fired.
It's just years of frustration that you've built up to hate the MCU.
Like, you do get that endgame moment where like all the female characters fly in, and it feels so empty. Although you try to pack a statement into a narrative framework where it doesn't fit, and I think like Nope is a great example of how to package something where you could find like a meaning of like, oh shit, we really are commercializing trauma. That's fucking weird. Like, why do we do that stuff? Why do we seek it out? And a movie that after you watched it and you talk about it, then you start to ask yourselves questions, not about like, I guess, the plot convenience of, oh, if you don't get seen, then you don't get slurped up by a big old Teletubby white creature vacuum sealer, but it's more
Space
about like,
butthole.
okay, what does you always come back to the sucking butthole, the reverse butthole. Imagine that thing is just like suctioning up a bunch of things to have an explosive big old fart that will wipe out humans as we know it. That would be a perfect sequel for Nope. But yeah, I think that's enough of like just the overall nature of it. Let's talk about the characters. OJ at the center of it. A really captivating performance from Daniel Kaluuya, although he doesn't like on the surface do a lot with his expression. He's really a toned down person who's, I think, more in tune with the animals around him, the horses, and he feels connected to them, and is a stark contrast to Emerald, Keke Palmer's character, who's this very sociable and open person that tries to be the center of attention. So what did you make of that dynamic between brother and sister?
No, the two had really good chemistry. I enjoyed scenes with them. I wasn't annoyed by them. It felt like a really strong brotherly sister sibling love that they had. Again, it nailed it. Like, I really do love that, and I also like how there's no love interest layup from any of the characters in any way whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
It's just there's none
Yeah.
of that in this film. It's, hey, there's a fucking alien, we're trying to capture it on camera. I have no time to deal with any of this bullshit except Kiki's
Yeah.
love for other women in like the store, for example, and just her talking about like
Yeah.
hooking up with her like was it mechanic or something like that.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, no, the relationship between OJ and M is really, really good. And again, it was good to have this contrasting, like they're both not socialites, they're both not mutes, because
Oh, yeah.
you could kind of see where I have seen some reviews saying Daniel's performance is a bit meh. And I guess you're looking at it as he's not doing much, but a, a black man in a predominantly white industry who's living up to the expectations that his father had set, who was an excellent horse trainer or animal trainer.
Mhm.
You have a lot to live up to. Why would you be a talkative guy? You would probably want to just get down to work and try to make what you can of it. So he's kind of out of his league when it comes to a lot of this stuff, besides when it comes to training to the horses, because when it comes to the horses, he's excellent. When it comes to setting up the cameras, he's not really sure. When it comes to any of this other stuff,
Dealing with people, that's not what
exactly,
his
it's not
expertise
his
are.
thing.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
that's that's why he's not out there. He's comfortable talking with M. They have that really like cool handshake moment. He can express emotion and he
Yeah.
can express it, but he's a
Hmm.
silent thinker and he's a smart dude. He doesn't go out there and start blabbering on about, aliens or anything like that. He's like, I need
Hmm.
to get this shot. So he's focused on a goal. And I
Yeah.
kind of enjoyed that from him. I didn't feel like his performance was lacking in any way whatsoever.
Hmm. I think something that's not in the forefront is also the dynamic of just, I guess, um the different involvements that they've had so far in the company. Although they don't seem to be that far apart in age. OJ was the one who got to work with his dad, whilst Emerald was kind of left out. And I think it's not a big focus of the story, but I don't think there's much to it. It's really simple. But I think that moment where like he goes with the fingers to motion, seeing her, and I don't know. I thought that was like simple, and it really touched me. I thought it was like, okay, that's a really beautiful bonding moment between those two, and it was a subtle little thing. What about Angel, the good old Angel coming in, giving us
You've
a
got to
lot of the
have
comedy from the
you've
film?
got to have your comic relief, right?
Yeah.
You can't just um just be
Someone is willing to say, aliens are gonna stick anal probes up your ass.
yeah,
So you
exactly.
need that guy.
Obviously I'm gonna keep just like bouncing it back to Get Out because it's the one I most recently watched. You had
Yeah.
Little Ren Howery in
Hmm.
Get Out doing all the comedy relief of that film, and
Hmm.
in that film I will always go by this with Get Out. I don't think it's an excellent horror film. Like, I do think there's a lot of awesome aspects to it, but there was no point where I personally felt horrified. Like, I didn't
It's more of a
feel like
thriller,
I
yeah.
wanted to
Hmm.
look away. It definitely is more of a thriller, psychological horror, maybe more than anything.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Uh, and the humor moments are quite important, but it's mainly coming down to those little scenes where the TSA guy is just talking to the FBI agents or
Hmm.
whatever they are, and she's like, "Hang on a second," brings in two other guys. There's the pause. There's the laugh. Like that whole scene is a thing, right?
Hmm.
In this film, the humor plays such a different aspect to it because while it feels like in Get Out, the humor was kind of separated from the main story. When uh Daniel looks, the ship is over the house, it spits out all of the people that it's just eaten up, which,
Hmm.
if I'm going to say anything on a quick note, the most uncomfortable I have felt in a cinema this year was the people being eaten by the ship going into it
Yeah.
being squished,
And then
the
yeah, yeah.
it was
It was,
claustrophobic, the
it was, yeah.
screaming, the sound of the machine, it was just terrifying to me to think that,
Hmm.
traditionally if you get abducted by a UFO, you're going to be probed, we're
The
desensitized,
traditional experience, yeah.
what's the word I'm looking for? We're not we're desensitized
Desensitized?
from
Yeah.
the traditional abduction of a UFO to then have
Hmm.
this twist that it's not a UFO, it's a living thing that eats
Yeah.
you. That was terrifying to me, and that was where it was like, okay, this is horrifying to think that you're not abducted. There's a possibility to be put down. You're abducted. You're eaten. You're destroyed. You're crushed. You're dead. And
Yeah.
you are terrified in those last moments. And it's kind of crazy to think that those sounds that the ship was making wasn't the actual ship. It was people screaming or horses screaming. It was insane. But the comedy in this plays a completely different part because it's part of the story. It's part of the I guess the real life reactions to if this was to happen to you when the ship is
Hmm.
over the house spitting its guts out and then hovers over um Daniel Kaluuya's character in the car, and he just opens up the door very quietly, looks up, goes back in. Nope.
Nope.
No, no, just
Yeah.
shakes his head. Like, that was funny. That is
Yeah.
a very funny
Yeah.
part of this film. It's natural
It's more
to
dry
the story.
humor,
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
a straight like comedy. It's not a scene that's just comedic. It's just
Hmm.
very good dry humor.
I think that's really in all of his work, the Key and Peele influence. You can really feel that he knows how to nail comedic moments well within the dramatic, story that he's telling. And I think not even just putting it on Angel to serve that. I think that OJ and M, they both have really funny moments that balance them, and I think it also grounds them into like once you connect with someone through just their whole being, which is comedic, which is traumatic, it has all of the layers in there as a person. You are more, I guess you care more about what's happening on screen, and I think he nails that in all of his films to a really like great degree. I think that's one of his strengths, that all of his characters really work super well. Which, lastly, I think that the last big character that is kind of more there towards the end of the story is the cinematographer with his solemn, dark, not dark, low registry voice. What did you make of that guy?
Antlers
He's got to go for the
Hoist, I
shot.
think his name was Antlers Hoist.
Yes, Antlers Hoist.
I feel like the entire time he would, just before shooting, he'd look over behind the camera, ask, wait, Ben Hoytma, what would you do in this situation, my friend? What would you do? But no, it was interesting. Like the him sitting in his house. Like, if I could dream of what I want to do when I'm his age, is just sitting in my house where it's just plants and film. I'm just looking at film that I've shot on that really
sounds
cool
like
machine.
a dream.
That sounds like a dream. Like glass of whiskey, cigar. Jerky.
Gotta deepen your
shit,
voice.
Deepen my
each decade.
Me
It's gotta
especially.
go one.
But no, I thought the character was quite a different. Like, obviously, Angel in comparison to OJ and Emerald, he's very different because he's obviously very into this. They're living among us. Tinfoil hat world, as I said earlier in the show. That's him. Where Antlers is obviously a bit more of this creative genius who's always wanted to get some particular shot, and he ends up getting that shot. But this is where I'm not gonna say this film's perfect, but because I've been praising it. But what was the point of him sacrificing himself?
It was just making a point about that character that we established, that he's just all about getting the shot, and he's that.
But like,
but from a character standpoint, why would he die?
Are you telling me that the shot
of
where the ship is literally like horizontal?
I think it makes more sense
to him.
It doesn't really make sense when you look at it from a cinematographer standpoint. Yeah, it's a bad shot because it would just be a void that you're filming at this point.
Like, he's filming. Like, I would love a little bit more of this film to say like, oh yeah, the film is all good. They got the shot, which they end up doing, getting a shot of the creature. But I want to see the fucking IMAX shot that he got on the hand cranked IMAX film camera, because it did say IMAX on it, I'm pretty sure. I want to see that shot. If I have to say anything else, I would love to see the actual shot that he got on that, because they were very hard in that entire setup to get that shot. So there was a lot of build up to getting the shot, and then we never actually see the Oprah shot, which I guess they do get the Oprah shot with the final hand cranked film Polaroid picture, because you get a good glimpse of it. But I was expecting more of a video, a film shot, than an actual still picture of the creature as the shot, the Oprah shot. Because I feel like if OJ saw that, he'd be like, man, I fucking yeeted Lucky. Was it Lucky? Yeah, Lucky. Down the ranch against, and we stole all these car batteries, we stole all these wacky waitable inflatable tube men, we stole all of this stuff to get this shot, and we really could have just run over, launched the inflatable Ricky Park inflatable balloon thing and do
Yeah.
that instead. So,
Mhm.
that's where I'm a bit disappointed because I was setting up this really big thing. For me, I do feel that the ending of this film is probably where it lacks. And when I say ending, I literally mean the last 5 minutes is kind of lackluster for me because there's this massive build up. They do the Akira slide. I was pretty fucking doped about that.
Mhm.
They do this massive build up of this alien, you can't look at it.
Mhm.
And then they're finally staring at the damn thing. It's making itself bigger, like most animals try to do in the animal world, because they've set it up as this predator that's hunting down if you look at it. And I was getting this very much. We have these things called frill neck lizards in Australia, which kind of expand this thing on their neck and it makes them
Yeah.
seem bigger. And it kind of felt like that's what it was doing. It was making itself bigger to be intimidating. And I was really finding that interesting. I was like, all right, cool. We're going to get an awesome look at this thing. And then it's
Mhm.
just a box. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's just a box that keeps opening and opening and opening.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. The alien was pretty dope as a UFO itself, and it was the living creature, and it's now making itself bigger. I'm okay with that. The box, I'm happy. The majority of the alien, that's cool. But the fact that it's just launched, it explodes, they get that shot, like it just didn't feel like it was a massive chase. The chase
Yeah.
between the alien and Emerald should have been like a back and forth between OJ and Emerald trying to get its attention to bring it over to the Jupiter Ranch
Yeah.
area. And they could have made this like final battle on the go. They've made this massive plan. They've gotten the Monopoly parts and they're planting it all down. It's like the plan goes to shit, so they've got to figure it out on the go. And then they get the shot with the hand cranked camera, which they set up earlier, obviously. Like, it just needed something a
Mhm.
bit more between the siblings, because the entire time, this is they go different ways. And it's just
Yeah.
Emerald. That's all it is at the end. And it's like we open on OJ, we're more attached to OJ. Emerald's been, more of a secondary main character than the actual main character. So why is it Emerald at the end? Why is it not OJ getting that picture? Because he was the one who wanted to get that final picture in the first place.
Yeah, and I didn't even think about that like at all. I think like at the center of it, it's also that the mystery is always more intriguing than I guess in this film, the established reality.
Oh, for
That
sure.
the longer we don't get to see the monster in Stranger Things, the more it is horrifying or it is more intriguing. And because I think Nope really goes for showing us this as a animal creature that's extraterrestrial, it's hard to then, I guess, find an ending where it involves that being fully on screen and making it captivating. I honestly thought the ending was great. I thought that just the visuals, like that's what I meant with the
Sure.
iconography of that film, just like that, her getting the shot is really iconic to me. I don't know, there was something about that, like shooting up from that well. I really liked that, but I didn't mind the ending. Basically, it came down to me that Otis and M had that moment before where they were acknowledging each other, and that's kind of all I needed for those two characters. And then we're back to the spectacle of them fighting, and I guess the reveal of okay, he's okay. It seemed like he might be dead or whatever. Is like a film thing of like, okay, is this the main character actually dead?
Man, it felt
Which
very
in Jordan
Django
Peele's
at the end,
thing,
didn't it? with
yeah,
OJ on the horse,
yeah,
it felt very Django Unchained
it did, yeah.
on the horse, looking all cool and shit.
And I didn't mind it. I thought it was quite good. One
Look,
last thing.
I'm not shitting on
Sorry, yeah.
the ending. I'm not shitting on the ending
Yeah.
because I do think it was, again, an okay ending, but it just
Yeah.
felt like it could have been a little bit more. And I guess they had already used, and as we said, the more you hide the creature or the villain, the more mystery around it, the more terrified you are, which is why
Mhm.
at the start you see it quickly fly in the clouds. It's all done at nighttime, and once they reveal the ship, they go, okay, there's the ship. Here's the twist. It's an actual creature. Okay, it's an actual creature. And then you see that shot of them going in its esophagus, essentially, and being crushed. Then, oh, the fucking cricket is back. Everyone, welcome to the cricket in my room. It won't shut up and I can't get rid of it. I don't know where it is. People going up into the esophagus of this creature and being crushed. That's the twist of that one. Or that's the twist to, again, be terrified of it once again, because we know it's a living thing. Okay, what's the next twist? Well, it's going to unravel itself into this massive creature, make it really tall to be intimidating. So they evolved the creature enough to still be terrified of it, but I just feel that by the end, we're still terrified of the creature, but it's not this massive, beautiful sail thing. I just felt that the ending could have been a bit more of a team effort instead of just I'm gonna get the creature to back up a little bit so that Emerald can get that coincidentally electric bike turned on so that she can ride away. So no, yeah, look, I'm not shitting on the ending. I just feel like that's part that could be better.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
continue.
yes.
By the way, the cricket's back.
Yeah, I can hear it. I mean, I really liked the the visual representation of the creature being close with the electric stuff. I think that was something that really made this again something quite unique. I think those floaty boys that they had up with the car batteries, it was so colorful. We haven't touched about on the look yet, but obviously this film looked amazing. But I just I loved how vibrant it was, like some of the costumes as well from the characters, and then this creature, I guess, is this matte like just white being. And some of the shots that I really liked as well is just that, like them looking up at the clouds and them realizing
stunning.
the creature is in there. It's done in a stunning way as well. Last thing, editing and the pacing. We haven't talked about those title cards yet, but that was an interesting choice. What did you make of that?
To chapter it off? Yeah. So the chaptering off was quite an bold choice, if I have to say so. At first I was a bit like, why? Oh, okay, why? But I can kind of see how it can make a bit it can structure it a little bit more, and it can kind of, instead of having to have this story flow from point A to point B, especially since they're trying to develop a story with Stephen Yeun's character, and then also the backstory with Emerald and OJ's father and the history of their family, and then the actual creature itself. It's trying to develop a bit more. So sectioning it off and having it about each of these horses is kind of a fun way to, okay, cool, there's one little part of the story, here's another part of the story. But at first I was a bit taken back. I was like, oh, okay, that's a title card there, and we're gonna get another one, and then we get another one. Was there a Nope title card?
I don't remember one being there. No, I don't remember a Get Out title card as well. But maybe you can.
No, I remember the Get Out title card was
was there Get Out?
During it was during the car ride in the trees, and it's blue and it to get out. But I don't remember the Nope title card. Unfortunately.
No, me neither. I think that kind of brings us to the end of our review. And Lachlan, what did you arrive at as a rating for Nope?
Oof. I'm going to be possibly hunted down by an angry mob for this. 4.5 out of 5.
Why would you be hunted down by an angry mob?
Because some people are going to be mad that I gave Get Out and Nope the same score. But for two different reasons, guys. I gave Nope a 4.5 because it is an excellently crafted film. And I gave Get Out a 4.5 because it is an awesome story with a really cool message. And overall, again, a really well-crafted story. There you go. That's my review of Nope. It was dope. I did it.
Same for me. I think it's a really strong film. Great in the filmography of Jordan Peele. I think he's got even more in the store for us in the future. I think he'll definitely won't be a letdown with like someone who had highest praise for his first film and then kind of going downhill. I don't think that's the path that he'll go down. But I arrived at a 4 out of 5 for Nope as well. A really enjoyable monster sci-fi horror drama. Something along those lines. I think he also does a great way of playing with genres and not really going down one particular path, but really just having his story to tell that he wants to do. And it's got some elements from a bunch of different things in there, but that wraps it up for Nope. Let us know what you made of the film down in the comments below. And then out this week, the new releases, by the time this episode is out, you can go check out the entire series of Better Call Saul. Yes, I will not miss an opportunity to shout that series out, which will get its series finale this week. Then on August 17th, we are getting the first episode. I'm not entirely sure how many of them they'll release at the start of She-Hulk on August 17th. And then on August 19th, the Friday, we are getting Beast with Idris Elba. And then on August 21st, the first episode of House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones prequel show, will debut over on HBO Max. Lachlan, do you have a pick of the week?
All right, so my pick of the week is going to be a bit of a clash between almost everything that I've watched this week, except for The Town. I don't think The Town actually works in this.
Right.
Let me just double check. Yes, and yes. Okay, cool. So, Nope has aliens in it. Midsommar is a horror film. The Town is don't worry about The Town. I can't work it into it. Get Out is also a horror film where something or someone is inside of you wanting to get out.
Right.
And Prey has Predator in it. Predator is in the same universe as AVP, and AVP is in the same universe as Alien. So my pick is Alien, because Alien has an alien, it's a horror film, and there's a chest thing trying to get out. The chest hugger, the chest buster is trying to get out. Again, it's in the same universe as Predator, technically, legally, according to the world of AVP, but we're not going to include that. So my pick is the original Ridley Scott 1979 classic, Sigourney Weaver led
Alien, a great pick from Ridley Scott. I like it. I'm sticking with someone who just recently directed The Batman, Matt Reeves, and I see maybe Nope as a potential, I guess, prequel, if you want it to be, for the Planet of the Apes series, and particularly Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is the second one in that trilogy. That is my pick of the week, I guess, continuing on that ape storyline from Nope to kind of thematically weave it into that. Our picks of the week don't have to be that, but it's always kind of what we aspire to do, to kind of connect it to something in the episode. But those are our picks of the week, and that brings us to the end of today's show. Next week, we'll take a look at the streaming exclusive Dan Trachtenberg, and I said that in a really German way. Dan
You
Trachtenberg.
did. So you said that so
Oh God.
European.
Yes. Oh my God. So yes. Anyways, we're taking a look at Prey next week. So go give that a watch in preparation. We can really already tell you we were quite big fans of it, and we'll talk about that next week. In the meantime, you can follow Lachlan and myself on our socials. Those are linked below. There's also a link tree for everything Quiet on Set that will take you to the audio and video feed, as well as the Ewan podcast and the YouTube channel where I post short reviews and interviews. And each Monday you get a new episode of the Quiet on Set podcast. And sometimes we also do extra reviews for stuff we don't get to cover on the show. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Quiet on Set podcast is powered by Cineman and hosted by myself, Ewan and Lachlan. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.